Hey, I like your car.
Awesome, thank you. I am. Whoa!
It's so cute. Oh, I always wanted a Beetle. Does it have one of those dancing flowers on the dash?
No.
Lame. Wait a minute. This isn't a Beetle. This looks like a Boxster.
No,
No,
it's not.
no, it looks just like a Boxster.
Mm-mm.
That's a Boxster.
No.
Oh, you know what? Your ends is going to explode any minute. I'm out. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Cayman. In this video, I'm going to share my 1-year ownership update of my 996 911. Yes, it has been an entire year since my wife surprised me with this car. She went and researched it, bought it online, and shipped it up here, and completely surprised me with it, which was awesome. So I've had this car for a year, and I want to just share with you everything. How much have I spent? What have I done to it? What has gone wrong with it? And maybe dispel some of the rumors that you might have heard about Porsche ownership. All right, let's talk a little bit about the 996 911 because it is the most affordable 911 out there. Now, why is that? And it's mostly because people hate them. And that's insane to me because it's an awesome car. But the purists don't like them because they were the first water-cooled Porsche engine. All the engines in the 911 up until the 996 model were air-cooled. And they really needed to change over to water-cooled. But the purists, since this was the first car with a water-cooled engine, they don't like that. They also don't like the headlights. They deviated from the normal sort of Porsche oval. This is the 996.2 model. The 996.1, I'll put a picture of it, has different headlights. They call them fried egg because of the yellow that you see. It's different. They went away from this with the next 997 model. I don't hate them, but some people do. And I guess that's okay because those two factors, and one more I'll talk about in a second, make this car really the most really a great buy. You can pick these up for an amazingly low price for what you get. They are Porsche 911s in every sense, and they are very reasonable. We'll talk about the price that I paid for this one in just a minute. The other issue that has hurt the price of these comes from the engine. They used an intermediate shaft bearing that would basically grenade the engine. So at any point, these engines can just kill themselves, and it's a very, very expensive fix if that happens. Now, the reality is it only happened in like 1 or 2 or so % of the car. So it was a very small number, but the reputation is there. And honestly, if you were one of the people that had that happen, that's a bad day. It's an easy fix. For a couple grand, you can fix the IMS. And once you fix it, it's bulletproof. So mine is fixed. And so there's no concerns at all about the IMS. So the water-cooled, the headlights, and the IMS bearing are kind of the 3 main reasons people hate on these cars. And it's made them a great buy for people who are looking for an affordable but awesome car. Now, another thing that made my particular car hard to believe because it looks so nice was that this was a total salvage rebuild. And I'll put some pictures of what, honestly, I don't know what happened to it. You'll see a big gash in the driver's door that was here and dents all over. My guess is vandalism. You'll see some of the dents on the passenger side in the pictures. I don't know what would have caused that other than like someone kicking the car or something. So it was actually totaled. No mechanical issues at all, but due to that damage, they totaled it. So it was bought back, professionally repaired, and you cannot tell. I mean, it looks perfect. It does have that salvage title, as you can see here, and that will affect the resale value, but honestly, I don't really care because right now I don't plan on selling it. If I do, then okay. I got it for a good price. And honestly, the market for these, I think, will continue to go up. So I'm not concerned. Let's talk about cost. Are these expensive cars to buy and to own? And the answer is not really. So this car, I spent $16,000 to buy it, my wife did, and that included shipping from Florida to Pennsylvania. Now, are they expensive to maintain? Again, the answer is not really, provided you're willing to do some of the work yourself. If you're gonna take this to a Porsche dealer for everything it needs, yeah, that's gonna get pricey. So let me talk about what I've had to do in terms of repairs over the last year. I've put about 6,000 miles on the car. I had to do front brakes. They were about $300 for brakes and rotors. I ended up only putting the pads on
because the rotors were okay, so I have the rotor still. I had to do a heat exchanger, a heater core. Parts were 150 bucks. I did it myself. Not too bad. And I think that's really it in terms of maintenance. When I bought it, I had to do a expanded PA inspection because it was a salvage title. I think everything all said and done was like 500, and then taxes and stuff. So maybe $1,000 in all that, kind of getting it registered. And that's pretty much it. Nothing else is broken. This car was a little bit of a gamble, I admit, because we bought it online. Hadn't seen it, got no pre-purchase inspection. We didn't really know much about the history other than that it had been totaled and rebuilt. Might not advise taking that risk. It was certainly risky, but it worked out great. I mean, this car was everything exactly the way we were told, and it really runs perfect. It needs nothing. It's just been a total blast to own. But I did spend a little bit more on some mods, so let's take a look at those. Since I didn't spend a ton for the car, we can talk about some mods that I could do with it. So the first I did was this doubled-in stereo, and it was $1,200, which was a lot. I did it myself. There is a module in these 996-2s. Just to be able to make it work, you have to buy this like $400 module. So that kind of sucked, but it was worth it to get a good stereo in here. The next mod I did was install the Fister exhaust, which sound awesome. And guys, get this, $600 total price. I installed it myself. You send back your old mufflers and you end up paying $600 for this awesome sounding exhaust. I'll put a cold start here. Another mod, I guess, in air quotes, that I did was get a hardtop. So my car did not come with a hardtop. And so that cost me $600. I found out when I tried to put it on that my car had the hardtop delete option. So there were the brackets that it mounts down into were not there. So I'm like, okay, I'll buy those. From Porsche, they're like $1,000, but I got it set for $250. So total all in for the hardtop, $850. And the only other significantly priced modifications I did were wheel spacers, which you can get cheaper, but I went with good ones, which I think is recommended. And I did a video on these, but basically they kind of make your wheels flush with the lines of the car, which without them, your wheels kind of sit in a little bit, and I didn't really like how it looked. So they were $350. One other elective fix I did was my driver's seat when it came was the leather was pretty tore up. So I bought a set of seats for $600. Thought I would just swap them both, but ended up just putting in the pad on the driver's seat. So I'm gonna sell the driver's seat frame and the passenger seat, so I'll recoup some of that money. And then a couple cheap interior mods. This was like $20 for these chrome rings around the gauges. And then I put a short throw shifter in, which was about $45 for the parts. And that's it. That's all the money that I've spent on the car. I did an oil change as well, but that's just normal maintenance. So this car has not been expensive to own at all. And when things do happen, for the most part, I'll try to fix it myself. And so that's how I can keep my cost of ownership low. Okay, first of all, yes, I need to get better recording equipment. But let's talk about the most important thing. What is the 996 like to drive? In short, it's awesome. It's pretty much a go-kart. 0 to 60 is in 4.7 seconds, which is pretty quick. It's not supercar fast, but it's pretty good. But straight line speed really isn't this car's forte. Rather, it's the amazing handling, coupled with the good power. Carving corners on a twisty road in this thing is such a blast, which is why having a 6-speed was a must for me. It's also a really comfortable daily driver. I'm a big guy and it works fine. I drove my father-in-law's Jaguar XK8, and at 6'1", I had to choose to either look over or under the top of the windshield. It was right in my line of sight. My buddy, who's 6'3", drove my car and said how surprised he was at how easily he could fit in it. So that's the 996, the most affordable way to get into the awesome 911 ownership experience. I do love the older air-cooled cars,
But a 996 is faster than almost all of them, except for some of the turbos and special editions. And I didn't mention it earlier, but I couldn't care less if the front of my 911 looks like the front of a Boxster. I think it's pretty pretentious to get upset about that. In my view, every Porsche owner, whether it be a 914 to a 918, is part of the same family. Look, haters are always going to hate. The 996s might never skyrocket in value, and that's all okay. Get one cheap and drive the heck out of it. Thanks for watching my 1-year 996 ownership report. I will see you next video.